Imagine this. You wake in the dead of night, the world silent except for the faint hum of your own thoughts. Your heart races, not from fear, but from a sudden, unshakable question, clawing at the edges of your mind. Why am I here? Not in the cosmic sense, not in the vague yearning for purpose, but something sharper, more accusing. Why are you not more? Why does your life, with all its routines, comforts, and fleeting joys, feel like a shadow of something greater you are meant to become? You lie there, staring into the dark, and the weight of that question presses against your chest. It's not new. It's been there all along, buried beneath the noise of daily life, but now it's awake, and it won't let you go. This is not a gentle question. It's a blade, cutting through the fabric of your assumptions. You've been taught to chase happiness, to seek stability, to fit neatly into the world's expectations. You've built a life, perhaps a good one, by most measures. A job that pays the bills, relationships that warm the heart, moments of laughter and rest. But in this moment, alone with your thoughts, you sense a betrayal, not from the world, but from yourself. Somewhere along the way, you traded greatness for comfort, meaning for safety. And the worst part? You don't even know why. Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher who stared into the abyss of human existence, would call this moment a reckoning. He believed most people live in a kind of quiet despair, not because they lack ambition, but because they fear the cost of greatness. Greatness to Nietzsche was not fame or wealth or power over others. It was the act of becoming what you are fully, unapologetically, without compromise. It was the courage to stand alone, to forge your own path through the chaos of existence. Yet most of us, he argued, shrink from it. We choose the familiar over the extraordinary, the safe over the sublime. But why? What invisible force pulls us back from the edge of our potential? Consider the paradox. You are born with a spark, a unique fire that could light up the world in ways only you could imagine. Yet day by day, you dim it. You tell yourself it's practical. There are bills to pay, expectations to meet, risks to avoid. Society rewards conformity, not rebellion. It praises the reliable worker, the agreeable friend, the predictable citizen. But deep down, you feel the dissonance. Every time you silence your inner voice, every time you choose the easy path, you bury that spark a little deeper. And with it, you bury the chance to live a life that feels truly yours. Nietzsche saw this as a tragedy, not just for the individual, but for humanity. He believed that greatness, true, world-shaping greatness, comes from those rare souls who dare to confront their fears, their doubts, their very existence. Think of the artists, the thinkers, the visionaries who reshaped history. They were not born different from you. They were not immune to fear or failure. What set them apart was their refusal to let those fears define them. They embraced the struggle, the pain, the loneliness of the path less traveled. And in doing so, they became something more than human. They became Bermensch, Nietzsche's ideal of the self-overcoming individual. But here's the question that haunts. Why don't you? What stops you from stepping into the unknown, from risking everything to become what you could be? Is it fear of failure? Fear of judgment? Or is it something deeper, something you can't quite name? Nietzsche would argue it's not just fear, it's a kind of spiritual cowardice, a refusal to face the void within yourself. Most people, he said, cling to the herd, to the comfort of the crowd, because it protects them from the terrifying freedom of standing alone. To choose greatness is to choose responsibility for your own existence, to say, I will create my own meaning, no matter the cost. And that, for most, is too heavy a burden. So here you are, awake in the dark, wrestling with a question you can't escape. What am I avoiding? The answer lies not in the stars or in some distant truth, but in the depths of your own psyche. It's in the choices you make every day, the ones you barely notice. It's in the moments you turn away from the hard path, the moments you let fear whisper louder than courage. Nietzsche's philosophy offers no easy answers, but it demands you look closer. It demands you ask, what is the hidden force that keeps you from greatness? And what would happen if you dared to face it? You feel it, don't you? That quiet ache, the sense that something vital is slipping through your fingers. It is not just a question of greatness. It has the gnawing suspicion that you, reliving a life smaller than the one you were meant for. You tell yourself it's normal, that everyone feels this way, that it's just the human condition. But Nietzsche would shake his head, his piercing gaze cutting through your excuses. He'd tell you this isn't an accident. It's not fate or circumstance holding you back. It's a hidden force, woven into the fabric of your mind and the world around you, designed to keep you small. To understand why you avoid greatness, you must first unearth this force, trace its roots, and see how it strangles your potential. Nietzsche called this force the herd instinct, a primal urge to conform, to blend into the crowd, to avoid standing out. It's not just cowardice, it's a survival mechanism, etched into your psyche by evolution and reinforced by society. Long ago, belonging to the group meant safety, resources, survival. To stray was to risk death. But today, that instinct betrays you. It whispers that fitting in is enough, that questioning the rules is dangerous, that chasing your own path is reckless. And so, you obey. You follow the script school, job, family, repeat, because it feels safe. But safety, Nietzsche argued, is the enemy of greatness. It lulls you into a trance where days blur into years and the spark of your individuality fades. Carl Jung, another giant of the psyche, would add a deeper layer. He'd say the herd instinct isn't just external, it is mirrored in your unconscious mind. Jung believed we carry a persona, a mask we wear to meet society's expectations. You craft this mask early, learning what to say, how to act, what to hide. It's the good employee, the loyal friend, the responsible adult. But the more you identify with this mask, the more you lose touch with your true self, the wild, untamed part that Jung called the individuation process. To pursue greatness, you must break free from the persona, confront the chaos within, and integrate the parts of yourself you've buried. But most people don't. They cling to the mask, terrified of what lies beneath. This fear isn't abstract, it's psychological, even neurological. Modern science backs Nietzsche and Jung with cold, hard evidence. Your brain is wired to avoid discomfort. The amygdala, at ancient sentinel, lights up at the slightest hint of risk, social rejection, failure, uncertainty. It floods you with anxiety, urging you to stay safe, to stick with the familiar. Meanwhile, society amplifies this. Consumer culture, as Aldous Huxley warned in Brave New World, sedates you with distractions, endless entertainment, shallow pleasures, the illusion of progress. You're taught to measure your worth by likes, followers, paychecks, not by the depth of your soul or the courage of your choices. The result? You're trapped in a cycle of seeking approval, avoiding pain, and suppressing the voice that begs you to break free. Nietzsche saw this as a philosophical crisis. In his view, modern society breeds last men, people who prioritize comfort over meaning, who choose predictable lives over the perilous pursuit of greatness. He despised this, not because he hated people, but because he believed in their potential. He saw the Bermensch, the self-overcoming individual, as the antidote. But becoming the Bermensch requires facing what Sartre later called existential angst, the realization that life has no inherent meaning, and you must create it. Most people flee this truth. They hide in routines, dogmas, or distractions, anything to avoid the terror of freedom. Sartre's insight echoes Nietzsche. To choose greatness is to choose responsibility for your own existence, and that weight feels unbearable. Yet the roots go deeper still. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and philosopher, argued that the avoidance of greatness stems from a lack of meaning. In Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote that humans can endure any suffering if they have a why to live for. But modern life, with its endless noise and shallow goals, strips you of that why. You're fed pre-packaged purposes by this, achieve that, fit in here, and they feel empty. Without a personal, burning sense of meaning, you drift, too afraid to forge your own path, too comfortable to question the one laid out for you. This hidden problem conformity, fear, distraction, meaninglessness, creates a vicious cycle. Every time you choose the easy path, you reinforce the chains. Every time you silence your inner voice, you widen the gap between who you are and who you could be. The consequences of this avoidance are not loud or immediate. They creep in slowly, like a fog, clouding your life with regret, resentment, and a vague sense of betrayal. Nietzsche would ask, how long will you let this go on? How long will you let the herd dictate your destiny? The answer lies in what comes next, the silent, devastating ways this avoidance shapes your reality and the cost it exacts on your soul. You don't see it happening, do you? The slow erosion of your potential, the quiet theft of your life's fire. It's not marked by a single catastrophic moment, no crash, no scream, no headline. Instead, it's 1,000 tiny surrenders, each one so small you barely notice. You choose the safer job over the risky dream. You bite your tongue to keep the peace. You scroll through distractions instead of facing the questions that burn inside you. Nietzsche would look at you, his eyes blazing with urgency, and say, this is how you lose yourself. This is how you become a shadow of what you could have been. The consequences of avoiding greatness are not just personal. They ripple outward, shaping your reality and the world around you in ways you can't ignore. Start with your own mind. Every time you shrink from a challenge, you train your brain to fear the unknown. Neuroscience shows this clearly. The brain's plasticity means it adapts to your choices. Avoid risk, and your neural pathways strengthen around caution, making boldness feel alien, even dangerous. Cognitive biases like the status quo bias kick in, convincing you that staying put is rational, that change is reckless. You begin to see the world through a lens of limitation, where every opportunity looks like a threat. Over time, this rewires you. The voice that once whispered of greatness grows faint, drowned out by the hum of routine. You don't just avoid greatness, you forget you were ever capable of it. This internal shift has external consequences. Your relationships, for one, bear the weight. When you suppress your true self, you bring a diluted version to the people around you. You nod along, you play the role, but there's a hollowness to it. Jung would call this the cost of the persona. You wear the mask so long it suffocates your authenticity. Friends, partners, colleagues, they sense it, even if they can't name it. You become predictable, agreeable, safe, but never inspiring. You attract others who mirror this caution, creating a feedback loop of mediocrity. The bold, the visionary, the world changers, they drift away, leaving you in a comfortable but lifeless orbit. Have you ever wondered why your connections feel shallow? Why they lack the spark of something deeper? It's because you're holding back the part of you that could ignite them. Society amplifies this loss. Nietzsche despised the herd, not out of arrogance, but because he saw how it crushes individuality. Modern culture, with its obsession with conformity, rewards the last men, those who ask for nothing more than comfort and distraction. Look around. Social media feeds you endless validation for fitting in, for liking the right things, for echoing the right opinions. Algorithms amplify this, curating a world that reinforces your fears and lulls you into passivity. Aldous Huxley's dystopian vision in Brave New World is no longer fiction. It's here, in the dopamine hits of your phone, in the pressure to conform to trends, in the cultural mantra that happiness is found in consumption, not creation. By avoiding greatness, you become complicit in a system that thrives on your smallness. The societal cost is staggering. Every time you choose safety over courage, you withhold something from the world, a perspective, a creation, a spark that could shift the course of history. Nietzsche believed that humanity's progress depends on those rare individuals who dare to transcend the herd. Think of the visionaries Galileo, Wolfe, Turing, who faced exile, ridicule, or worse to bring their truth to light. Their greatness wasn't just personal. It reshaped the world. When you avoid your own potential, you rob the collective of what only you could offer. The ideas you don't pursue, the risks you don't take, the truths you don't speak, they leave gaps in the fabric of human progress, gaps no one else can fill. But the deepest consequence is existential. Sartre's concept of bad faith captures it perfectly. When you avoid greatness, you betray your own freedom. You pretend you have no choice, that life's demands force you to stay small. But this is a lie. Every moment you choose conformity over courage, you reinforce a kind of spiritual death. You feel it in the restlessness, the vague regret that haunts quiet moments. It's the sense that you're living someone else's life, that you've traded your soul for a script you didn't write. Nietzsche would call this the ultimate tragedy. Not that you fail, but that you never truly try. The longer you avoid greatness, the heavier this weight becomes, until it feels like a prison you built yourself. And yet, there's a spark of hope in this darkness. The very fact that you feel this unease, this stirring of something more, means the game isn't over. Nietzsche believed that the path to greatness begins with confronting these consequences, with seeing the cost of your choices clearly. The question is, how much longer will you let this go on? What would it take to break free from this invisible cage? The answer lies not in escaping the world, but in rebelling against the forces within and without that keep you tethered. The rebellion is coming, and it starts with a single radical choice. You're standing at the edge of a precipice, aren't you? The weight of your choices presses against you, the safe path behind, the unknown ahead. You've seen the cost of avoiding greatness, the slow death of your spirit, the hollow connections, the world robbed of your fire. But knowing the problem isn't enough. Knowledge alone doesn't free you. Nietzsche would grab you by the shoulders and demand action, a rebellion against the forces that chain you. To break free is not to flee the world, but to defy it, to reject the lies you vet and fed, and forge a path that is yours alone. This is no gentle shift. It's a revolution, a tearing down of the walls you've built around your soul. But how do you begin? How do you summon the courage to step into the void? First, you must confront the lie at the heart of your avoidance, the belief that safety is your salvation. Nietzsche called this the slave morality, the mindset that glorifies weakness, conformity, and comfort as virtues. It's the voice that says, don't rock the boat, don't aim too high, be content with what you have. To rebel, you must burn this lie to the ground. Start by asking yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? Not just of failure, but of judgment, rejection, or standing alone. Write it down, speak it aloud, let it haunt you. This question is your first act of defiance, a crack in the armor of the herd. It's not about having answers yet, it's about daring to ask. Next, turn inward. Jung's concept of individuation is your map here. Greatness demands you face the parts of yourself you've ignored, the shadow, the untamed desires, the fears you've buried. This is not therapy's soft comfort. It's a descent into the chaos of your psyche. Try this. Sit in silence for 10 minutes, no distractions, and ask, what am I hiding from myself? The answers will be uncomfortable anger, shame, dreams you've dismissed as foolish. But these are the raw materials of your transformation. Nietzsche's Bermensch, I ascend to born from perfection, but from the courage to embrace the whole self, flaws and all. You can't become great by pretending to be flawless. You become great by wrestling with your darkness and emerging stronger. Now, shift your perspective. The world tells you greatness is external wealth, status, applause. Nietzsche scoffed at this. True greatness is internal, a state of being. It's the artist who paints not for fame, but for truth. The thinker who questions not for answers, but for deeper questions. Look to history. Socrates, condemned for his relentless inquiry, chose death over silence. Joan of Arc, driven by a vision no one else could see, faced the stake rather than recant. These were not superhumans. They were people who refused to let fear define them. You don't need their scale of impact, but you need their mindset. Ask yourself, what would I create, say, or do if I cared nothing for approval? Then take one small step toward it, a word, a sketch, a choice. That step is your rebellion's spark. Practically, this means dismantling the habits that keep you small. Your brain, wired for comfort, loves routine. Break it. If you spend hours scrolling, replace 1 hour with writing, reading, or creating. If you say yes to please others, practice saying no to protect your time. Cognitive science supports this. Small, deliberate changes build new neural pathways, making boldness easier over time. Nietzsche would call this amor fati, loving your fate, embracing the struggle as the path to your becoming. Every time you choose discomfort over ease, you chip away at the herd's grip. You train yourself to see risk not as danger, but as opportunity. But the rebellion isn't just personal, it's philosophical. You must reject the narrative society feeds you. Consumer culture, as Huxley warned, thrives on your passivity. It wants you distracted, docile, dependent. Defy it by creating, not consuming. Write the story you've always wanted to tell. Build the project you've dreamed of. Speak the truth you've swallowed. These acts are not just self-expression. They're declarations of independence. Viktor Frankl's insight is key here. Meaning is not found, it's made. You create it by acting, by choosing, by daring to be more than a cog in the machine. The rebellion is not without pain. You'll face doubt, loneliness, even ridicule. Nietzsche knew this. He was mocked, misunderstood, alone. But he also knew that greatness lies on the other side of suffering. Each step you take, each choice to act despite fear, makes you stronger, more alive, more you. You're not just breaking free from the herd. You're breaking free from the version of yourself that feared to live fully. The question now is, what happens when you embrace this rebellion fully? What becomes possible when you stop avoiding and start becoming? The answer lies in a truth so profound, it will shake the foundations of your world. You've felt the weight of it all, the question that woke you in the night, the hidden forces chaining you, the silent consequences eroding your soul, the rebellion that demands you act. Now, standing at the edge of your own becoming, you face the final truth, the one Nietzsche spent his life chasing, the one that can redefine everything you thought you knew. It's not a gentle revelation. It's a thunderclap, a moment that strips away illusions and leaves you raw, alive, and trembling with possibility. This is the truth. Greatness is not something you achieve. It is something you are. It is the act of embracing your existence fully, without apology, without retreat, and creating meaning in a world that offers none. To live this truth is to become what Nietzsche called the Bermensch, not a superhero, but a human who dares to live as if their life is a work of art. This realization shifts everything. You've been taught to seek greatness outside yourself, in accolades, wealth, or legacy. But Nietzsche saw through this lie. The world's measures of success are traps, designed to keep you chasing shadows while your true potential lies dormant. The Bermensch does not seek approval. They create value. They do not wait for meaning. They forge it. Imagine waking each day not asking, "What will the world give me?" but declaring, "This is what I will give the world." This is the paradigm shift. Your life is not a puzzle to solve, but a canvas to paint, a story to write, a battle to fight, and the only one who can decide its shape is you. Consider what this means. Every choice, every moment, becomes a chance to sculpt your existence. The pain you face, rejection, failure, doubt, is not a barrier but a chisel, carving you into something greater. Nietzsche's concept of amor fati, loving your fate, becomes your guide. You embrace not just the highs but the lows, not just the victories but the struggles, because they are yours. This is what sets the Bermensch apart. They do not resent life's chaos. They dance with it. Think of Frida Kahlo, painting through unbearable pain, turning her suffering into art that shook the world. Or Beethoven, deaf yet composing symphonies that still echo through time. They did not overcome their struggles by denying them, but by weaving them into their greatness. This truth redefines your past struggles. The moments you felt lost, the times you chose safety over courage, they were not failures, but lessons, raw material for your becoming. Jung's idea of individuation aligns here. To become whole, you must integrate every part of yourself, the light and the shadow, the fear and the fire. That restlessness you felt, that ache for something more, was not a curse, but a call. It was your soul whispering, "You are not done." Nietzsche would say this is the moment you stop running from that call and turn to face it. You stop asking, "Why am I not enough?" and start declaring, "I am enough to create what matters." But this realization comes with a challenge. It demands action. Sartre's existentialism echoes Nietzsche here. You are condemned to be free. There is no script, no divine plan, no excuse. Every day, you choose who you will be. Will you hide in the herd, letting fear dictate your path? Or will you step into the unknown, claiming your life as your own? The power of this truth is that it makes your past struggles clear. They were not random. They were the crucible in which your greatness was forged. Every time you doubted, every time you fell, you are learning what it means to rise. Now, imagine standing at the center of your life, no longer a bystander, but a creator. The world will not hand you meaning. You must seize it. Write the book you've buried in your heart. Speak the truth you've swallowed. Build the dream you've dismissed as impossible. These acts are not just rebellion. They are your declaration of existence. Nietzsche's final gift is this: you are not bound by the world's limits, only by your own courage. The Bermensch is not a destination. It is a process, a constant becoming, a refusal to settle for less than your fullest self. As you stand here, the question returns, but it's different now. It's no longer, "Why am I not great?" It's, "What will I create with this one wild life?" The answer is not out there. It's in your hands, your heart, your will. Close your eyes and feel the weight of this moment. The world is waiting, not to judge you, but to witness you. Step forward. Create. Become. The abyss is not your enemy. It is your canvas. Paint it with fire.